In a large nice town, there lived a man named William. William was an intelligent young man who lived in a world powered by electricity and gadgets. He loved his smartphone, smartwatch, and every other device that made life easier. He was also a university student, and when he did his work, he would always do his research from the internet and never through books, which is fine, but he trusted the internet too much and believed most of the time it was 100% right. He believed that things were easier and better through the use of services like Google or ChatGPT than to search through books and more so-called old-fashioned means. Because of that, to him the present was far superior to the past, thanks to the wonders of modern technology, but was he about to learn a lesson he would never forget. One sunny day, William was at home doing some work. He had recently been assigned a 1,000-word essay on a complex book for his university class. However, the idea of reading the entire book seemed daunting and unappealing. So, determined to find a shortcut, he called his friend and classmate, Jimmy, and suggested they meet at the library to work on the essay together. When they arrived at the library, things started off poorly for William. He didn't have the urge to read the book, considering the information in it false, and it would be easier and faster if he would just check it out on the internet. His friend Jimmy then reminded him that they were supposed to read the book and find information from it, not just look it up on the internet. But William's mind had been made up already, and he left for the second floor to the computer room to search for information, with Jimmy following behind, still trying to convince him. As William and Jimmy were making their way to the second floor, William noticed an old man reading a book. He also had several books on his table and a laptop which he wasn't using. So out of curiosity, William decided to ask him why he was searching for information through so many books when he could just search it up on the internet. The old man then replied that he prefers the depth and richness of books, and that while it might be slower, he believes it's better to search for information in them rather than always relying on the internet, saying it can rot your brain and brings laziness. William shook his head in disagreement, saying he thinks the internet is better, adding that it's faster and more convenient. He also said that most people learn better from there and would rather study or get information from there than from a book. After arguing back and forth, with the old man taking a calmer approach and William taking a more aggressive, Jimmy, who had been silent for a while, suggested they have a sort of contest. Contest? William was puzzled at first until Jimmy explained that they could have a sort of competition where they could, for example, use their own preferred methods to get to a specific location or something. He even offered to be the judge. William liked this idea, and so did old man Philip, but William, as usual, decided to spice things up. He decided to go big, hoping that the old man would back out by saying that if he wins, the old man would have to get him a new smartwatch since his old one got broken. But surprisingly, he agreed, which shocked William, and he added that if he wins, William would have to relinquish his most relied on devices and gadgets for a month. William was sort of shocked, but with the confidence he had in himself, he agreed. Jimmy then told him about a meeting place they should both be at by 10 a.m. the following day, and from there, he would text them both the address where he himself would be waiting, and the first person to arrive there will be crowned winner. They both liked the plan, with Kevin feeling super confident now, also taking into account he was an old man and he probably couldn't move really fast. They then wished each other good luck and went their separate ways. That evening, William stood in his room talking on the phone with Jimmy. He had already finished his school assignment using the internet, and now he was talking with Jimmy about the competition tomorrow. William told him confidently that he thought the old man was not going to go through with the challenge when he mentioned the smartwatch, and because he did, he was going to get himself a free smartwatch. Jimmy then asked what his strategy was, with William then telling him he will have his GPS ready and all his apps prepared, and as soon as he gets the address, he will map out the fastest route there. Jimmy sighed and told him he needed a backup plan if there were any setbacks, for example his phone dies or something. He also reminded him not to underestimate the old man and remember what he said about balance, and that he should consider a backup plan that doesn't rely heavily on devices. Kevin didn't bother to listen to all of this. He was glad that his friend was trying to advise him, but he just told him that no need for all of that and he would be fine. Feeling excited for the competition but worried for his friend, Jimmy wished William good luck, and William, who was really confident, thanked his friend and went to bed in preparation for the next day. The next morning, William woke up feeling invigorated and ready for the day. He got dressed, got his gadgets ready, and left the house, confident in his preparations. He arrived at the park at exactly 10 a.m., where the old man, Philip, was already waiting. "Too bad you're gonna lose today," William said, with the old man just replying, "We'll see." William finally got a call from Jimmy, who was at the address. He told it to William, who then had to tell to the old man because he didn't have any devices with him. Immediately he gave the old man the address. William typed it into his phone and found the fastest route and ran off, leaving the old man sitting there. Philip was in no rush. He just sat there analyzing the route on his map until he knew it by heart. And when he did, he put the map in his pocket and set out for the location. Meanwhile, William, on the other hand, had covered a certain distance running. He had checked his Google Maps and ran the ways the map assured, feeling reassured by the real-time guidance. However, he soon encountered his first obstacle, a roadblock that the app hadn't accounted for. Frustrated, he recalculated his route, now forced to take a longer detour. Determined to make up for lost time, William decided to take the train. He had to wait for quite a while, but when the train finally arrived, he hopped on it and it took him to the destination he wanted. Or at least he thought so. In his haste, he boarded the wrong train, which carried him to the opposite side of town, or in other words, further away from his destination. His frustration mounted as he realized his mistake. As if things couldn't get worse, it started raining heavily, drenching him and his phone. The rain made it nearly impossible to see the map on his screen. Philip, on the other hand, got off to a great start. He had studied the route on the map and walked through the city vividly, remembering some structures and places from the map, and when he was in doubt, there was no problem in asking, which he did, and was always put on the right path. And during the time of the rainfall, Philip went to a cafe, ordered a coffee, and waited for the downpour to stop. He wasn't in a rush, confident that William was facing troubles of his own, and while sipping his coffee, he had a pleasant conversation with a local who assured him he was on the right path. Back at the train station, William had to wait 30 minutes for the next train back. When he finally returned to his side of town, he checked the address again. It was a long walk from the station, so he decided to take the bus. Unfortunately, the bus got stuck in heavy traffic, something he could have anticipated if he had checked beforehand. Growing increasingly desperate, William left the bus and sprinted toward the destination, frustrated, tired, and excited. He finally arrived, drenched, exhausted, but relieved. He rejoiced, believing he had beaten Philip. However, as minutes passed and Philip did not arrive, doubt began to creep in. William tried calling Jimmy, thinking all this is a prank and he was just hiding around there, but got no answer. At this point, William didn't even want to check his address because he didn't want to believe he was at the wrong place. But, after a few minutes of hesitation, he decided to check the address once more, realizing with horror that he had made a critical mistake. The correct address was Abington Street 4, but he had only searched for Abington Street. The two places were entirely different. Feeling frustrated and foolish, William knew he had to act quickly. He gathered himself, ready to search for the correct address, but at that moment, his phone died. He couldn't believe his bad luck. With no other options, William asked passersby for directions. It took time, and he was given conflicting information, but he pressed on, determined not to lose. Meanwhile, Philip had resumed his journey after the rain stopped, enjoying the walk. He arrived at Abington Street 4, greeted by Jimmy, who congratulated him on his punctual arrival. William finally reached the correct location, out of breath and disheveled. He saw Jimmy and Philip waiting for him, both seated with Philip looking calm and collected. William then said knowingly that it looked like old man Philip had arrived a while ago. Jimmy and Philip then nodded in agreed, and then William sighed, feeling the weight of his failure. He acknowledged the fact that he should have planned better and he relied too much on my gadgets and didn't prepare for any setbacks. Philip then said to him that technology is a great tool, but it's important to use it wisely and not let it replace critical thinking and preparation. He also added that William is a grown man, and despite winning the bet, he had no place to deprive him of technology, and if William wants to continue using technology the way he wants, it's fine, but he suggests that he takes the month off from excessive use of it and see how it would change his lifestyle. Philip agreed to take the month off, humbled by the experience. He realized that while technology was useful, it wasn't infallible. The competition had taught him the value of balance and preparation. He thanked Jimmy and Philip for the experience, and then they all went their separate ways. A month had passed since the competition, and William found himself in the library with Jimmy once again. He was no longer glued to his phone or obsessed with social media updates. Instead, he found joy in flipping through pages of books, uncovering knowledge the old-fashioned way. He learned to be more mindful, to plan ahead, and to appreciate the depth of information you can get from books. Sure, he still uses his phone and laptop, but he didn't rely on them as a crutch anymore. He learned that it is about finding the right balance, and when you do find that balance, it's hard to ever fall. And as for old man Philip, they never saw him after that day. They searched all over but couldn't find him. But they had a good feeling he was somewhere else, like a guardian angel ready to help the next person learn an important lesson. Or maybe he was just on holiday. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos like this.